recognize this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton.
Price $23,000, but Guangzhou price $600.
Hermes is drowning in scandal, and this time it might not make it out clean. The luxury powerhouse famed for exclusivity, high-class French workmanship, and sky pricing is becoming exposed in the most cruel way conceivable. And this isn't just one wayward employee talking. This looks like a straight-up takedown.
In today's show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany. Thanks to viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy.
A former Hermes insider has allegedly teamed up with the same Chinese manufacturers Hermes once tried to silence together. They're not just spilling secrets, they're seeking to wreck the whole brand. The assertion's alarming. Those $20,000 and above Birkin bags, supposedly created by elite French artisans, were apparently primarily made in Chinese factories. Then they were sent to France merely for a few finishing touches before acquiring that all-important Made in France stamp. That's not luxury, that's a full-blown con. This isn't just about fraud, it's about betrayal. Loyal customers, collectors, even investors bought into the idea of Hermes.
At Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Muti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany. And the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD.
And now that fantasy is cracking wide open, and the real kicker, this attack is coming from both sides, one from deep inside Hermes, the other from the very factories they attempted to keep hidden. This isn't some small leak, this is a fashion world execution. The industry is watching in shock. For decades, Hermes peddled the idea that every Birkin, every Kelly, every bag was carefully hand-stitched by French masters who trained for years. But now one of their own is telling flat out, that's a lie.
And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, the thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil.
This whistleblower didn't just whisper suspicions, they brought receipts. According to them, a major chunk of the work has been done outside France for years. We're talking about real deal bag, making the leather work, the stitching, the assembly, not simply the buttons and tags, all done in Chinese facilities kept under strict secrecy. And these weren't random workshops either, they're reportedly the same ones Hermes allegedly threatened to sue if they ever spoke up. The whistleblower claims Hermes hides everything. Parts are shipped quietly to France for light finishing, just enough to legally put on that Made in France label.
This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans to finish one bag.
And this didn't start last year, it's been going on for years, protected by NDAs, hush-hush company policies, and tightly managed PR. When this bombshell hit the internet, it didn't just upset buyers, it lit the whole luxury community on fire. Forums, subreddits, Discord servers, even handbag investment circles are panicking out, wondering if much of their collection is actually false. Luxury industry experts are coming up to calling the claims not just credible, but proven. If the leaked documents, shipment data, and factory logs line up, Hermes might be staring down global lawsuits, massive refund demands, and a dramatic collapse in brand trust. And here's where it gets wild. The whistleblower dropped the first blow, but the factories Hermes attempted to keep quiet. They're going Allen. These Chinese producers aren't hiding anymore. For years, they were bound under strict NDAs, gag orders, and silent pressure, couldn't talk to the media, investors, or even their own teams. Hermes kept them quiet. Till now, factory bosses and ex-managers are stepping forward backing the whistleblower story with photos, papers, and insider details, and what they're showing, it's bad, real bad. They're saying complete batches of Birkin bags were stitched together and practically finished in China, then quietly flown to France for a few small tweaks. We're talking about a rivet here. A small stitch there, just enough to fake that final production happened in Europe, so Hermes could lawfully slap that made in France label on it and sell it to you for $25,000 like it was some handcrafted masterpiece. But wait, it gets shadier. Some manufacturers say they were directly directed to delete all signs the bags were from China, no made in China tags, no export receipts, no paper trail, at all, total blackout. One even leaked internal texts that reportedly show Hermes reps instructing factory staff to use European stitching patterns, even though the bags were being stitched together in areas like Shenzhen and Dongguan. This wasn't some tiny slip-up, this was a full-on planned-out illusion, and now that the truth's coming out, the factories aren't remaining silent anymore. They're flipping the script. They've teamed up with the whistleblower, and they're ready to burn the whole Hermes cover-up to the ground. Just as things hit a boiling point, Hermes performed the classic billionaire move. They lawyered up swiftly.
The human resource cost will be $600 USD. The package, this is not that expensive. It's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil.
But they didn't deny the claims. No public apology, no vow to look into it, nothing. Instead, Hermes came out swinging with legal threats, suing multiple Chinese manufacturers for breaking NDAs, stealing IP, and supposedly hurting the Hermes name. Translation: you told the truth, and now we're coming for you. But here's the twist: the factories aren't scared. They're flipping Hermes' own game on its head now. They're contending that those NDAs weren't to safeguard trade secrets, they were being exploited to hide shady business from the public. They say they were silent about activities that would never be tolerated in France: mass production, assembly lines, rushed quality control, and even subcontracting to smaller, lesser-known workshops. Whenever demand surged, their message is loud and clear. This wasn't about workmanship, it was about keeping a lie alive. And now Hermes's legal approach is blowing up in its face. Every lawsuit, every leaked court file, every heated legal threat is just adding more heat and more eyes to the scandal. Nobody's backing the billion-dollar brand. They're backing the workers, the guys who really touched the leather, cut it, stitched it, packaged it way before the bags ever stepped foot in a French atelier. And now fashion insiders are warning Hermes is walking a razor's edge. If this lawsuit hits the courtroom, it might become ugly. Internal files might surface, contracts, shipping logs, supplier emails, all the receipts that might destroy her Hermes's reputation for good. And if even one judge judges in favor of the producers,
the only difference is, one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD, but even better quality and craftsmanship around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud because we were only making our way.
That made in France label might go from a badge of elegance to the biggest fashion joke of the decade. Hermes didn't simply take a knock to their ego, they shattered faith when the news dropped that their crown jewel bags might be coming out of Chinese factories instead of lovely Parisian workshops. Fans were furious, people felt deceived, and they weren't staying quiet. Across TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, and Instagram, the luxury industry burst. Bag collectors, fashion influencers, even longtime Hermes loyalists were questioning everything. One viral comment summed it up:
Vuitton and Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Bouldin for their lambskin from France. Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight. Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers? All in APIF.
Telling me I waited 3 years, spent $30,000 and got a bag from the same factory as knockoffs. And that was just one of thousands of indignant reactions flooding the internet. These buyers didn't just feel duped, they felt played, because for Hermes devotees, it was never just about the bag. It was about the fantasy, the illusion of rarity, the pride of finally obtaining a Birkin, being part of that ultra-rare club. But once people realized they paid elite prices for what may be factory-line production, from overseas boom, the fantasy fell, refund demands started piling up, resale prices dropped. Consignment retailers reported more Hermes returns than ever. Even big handbag forums like Purseblog and TPF were overwhelmed. Mods had to delete threads because the turmoil was off the charts. But this isn't just another scandal, this is reputation destruction.
Because Hermes clearly purports that all of their bags are handmade in France and their watches are made in Switzerland. In their verbiage, there is no room for confusion about where their products are manufactured. There's no room for China. But in the beginning of that video, that nice Chinese man is clearly standing in front of what appear to be Hermes bags, saying,
Hermes spent decades building their name, then boom, a single whistleblower and a few factory leaks flipped the whole narrative. Now the customers want answers. No PR fluff, no shiny influencer videos, just the truth. And until Hermes delivers, the backlash isn't over, it's still